This is an open letter for friends and folks. Uh, with regards to globalism, uh, you hear left and right that yes, globalism didn't work, it was useless, we have to go back to nationalism, globalism fucked us all, and the problem was globalism. We should not have, gone through with globalism, and let's break up the fucking European Union, and uh, you know, let's pick teams and go to war. We got NATO's, and then we got BRIC. You fought East and West. Now you're going to fight North and South. You folks love fighting. Here's the thing. So you're saying globalism didn't work, so we're going to fight. The Northern Hemisphere and the Southern Hemisphere are going to fight it out because globalism didn't work. We have to go nationalism, back to nationalism and statism. Folks, it wasn't globalism that you were practicing. I'm not sure if you got it between all the football and the baseball and the basketball that you folks watch. I'm not sure you got that you weren't practicing globalism for the past 100 years. You weren't before, and you didn't after. You never played globalism. You weren't doing globalism. I'm not sure why you guys think somehow you were doing globalism and globalism is wrong and globalism is bad. You weren't doing globalism. My pink skin friends, you were doing NATOism. You were doing whiteism. You were doing we the people of Europe and the people with European ancestry. We're gonna do it our way. This is what you were practicing. Do any of you folks, between all the basketball and the football and the baseball that you were watching, and the WWF, and then consequently WWE, and it was so you didn't care that WWF, which is World Wildlife Foundation, for years you have an overlap between World Wrestling Federation and World Wildlife Foundation, and nobody notices for years, for decades, until they told you that, hey, we have a World WWF and it means something else. We have an overlap here, and because this is a United Nations organization, do you mind you change it to something else? I'm sure they had some kind of a court situation until WWF gave it up and became WWE, FE or EF. WWE, World Wrestling Entertainment. My point is this: you're not there. You weren't doing globalism. You were so not there that you had overlap between domestic registered names and internationally recognized names. You had an overlap, and somehow you backed down. I'm not sure how, but somehow WWF, the Wrestling Foundation, backed off. My point is this, that you weren't doing globalism. Never, ever. Not in recent history, not in past history. But somehow everybody was blaming all the bullshit, and is blaming all the bullshit that has happened under NATOism, under pinkskinism, under we are the European and people of European ancestry, so we must rule this bitch. You were practicing that, but you are telling your people, your folks, your common man that this is globalism. No, it's not. Remember when United Nations voted not to invade Iraq, Uncle Sam's managers formed the coalition of the willing, those who are willing to go and rip Iraq a new asshole. It's some group of people in the fucking Middle East, some brown motherfuckers in the Middle East. We're gonna go rip them a new asshole, whether they need it or not. We're gonna give them a new asshole. This is what you were practicing. If you had gone to United Nations, which you did, and United Nations said, no, you don't need to invade anybody, leave them the fuck alone. If you had listened to that, you would say, yes, we did globalism. But you didn't. Your overlords, people in charge of Uncle Sam's business, the managers of Uncle Sam, decided to override globalism and do NATOism, do racism, do whiteism. This is what Uncle Sam's managers decide to do, and the fucking Europeans don't have a penis. So they follow through. They shot themselves in the foot, broke the whole North Africa apart, and now they're taking it up the ass from the African men in Europe. But anyway, now here is the thing. You weren't practicing globalism. You did your own thing. You did Americanism. Your managers, not you, your managers, my common pink-skinned folks. Your managers, those in charge, have done Americanism. And not even Americanism. Most of it is sort of like a specific class of Americanism. Sort of like we are for the rich Americans and we follow the policies that benefit these Americans. And we call them the real Americans because they got the money to show for it. If you don't have the money, you're not American. Come on, with the immigration policy that anybody, if they pay enough, they have enough money to invest, they can get a passport. That means what? What it means? It means, if you got the money to show for it, you can also be American. Here's the thing, folks. You never did practice globalism. Invasion of Iraq was not a result of globalism. The true result of globalism came out about the General Assembly of United Nations, which said, oh, no, please don't invade Iraq. Please don't bother. Please don't invade Afghanistan. Did Uncle Sam's managers went to United Nations and asked whether they can or cannot invade Panama, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, covertly or overtly? Covertly. Did Uncle Sam's managers, any of them, did they go to United Nations and get their majority vote to interfere in any of these countries? Somalia, Sudan, Egypt, Libya, Morocco, Middle East, in all of the fucking Arabian Peninsula, as well as north of it, Pakistan, India, the Indian subcontinent. Did the fucking British went to United Nations and said, can we colonize India now? We've been waiting for a while. Can we colonize India now? No, they didn't. Before World War II, they didn't. Before World War I, they didn't. During the colonial days, they had an equivalent to United Nations. They didn't go to it. After, World War I, they had the real equivalent to United Nations in Switzerland. Nobody went to it. They just picked up and left. The Japanese felt they were being pushed around, especially during World War II, because, Uncle Sam's managers were blocking their shipping lanes. Just like they're trying to get their shit together to do the same to China, block their shipping lanes. They have got Australia to go along and say, yes, we want to, protect our ships from China. What ships? Motherfucker, these are the same ships that their only job is to take shit to China and bring shit out of China. You think China is gonna shoot the ships that take things into China, or you think China is going to shoot and sink the ships that are taking things out of China for business? For real business. Those ships, your ships, your Australian ships, their maximum trade is in with China. They're either taking shit to China. So why would China attack the ships that are providing him with business? Why Australia needs to, you know, defend its shipping lane from their main shipping partner? Australia is trying to defend their shipping lane from their main shipping partner, which is China. Are you folks fucking kidding me? No, Uncle Sam's managers have been practicing everything but globalism. When Globe says no, Uncle Sam's managers say, oh no, we will find our own coalition of the willing. Basically, yes, man. Yes, man. You know, we will find, you know, France and England. But France and England, France, the fucking British and the fucking English, the fucking French are always ready to invade somebody, anybody. These folks are real bloodthirsty, and their neighbors. They've had numerous wars with each other across the fucking channel. So when have the British ever said, the British and the French have ever said no to a blood feast? They're always up for a blood feast. Especially if they're sure they're winners. They both have nuclear weapons, so they're assured that they can defend their own land. So let's go fuck them over there, and you know, they can't attack us because we got nuclear weapons. Colonialism, anybody? You haven't been practicing globalism. You have been practicing colonialism, my pink-skinned friends. My common pink-skinned friends. Your leaders have been continuing to practice colonialism. What is this but colonialism? If you can hit the other guy, but the other guy can't hit back, because the other guy is scared that you got a weapon that you can wipe them off the face of the planet, then the other guy is not going to hit. You can go fuck them up the ass, but you can be, you know, rest assured that there wouldn't be no reprisals, because they're not crazy. They don't want to be wiped the face of the planet with a nuclear bomb, so they bend over and take it up the ass. And the only challenge becomes how we prevent them from getting a big penis of their own, a nuclear weapon of their own. If we can keep the nuclear weapon out of their hands, we can fuck them up their ass. And without worries. We can fuck them up their ass without worries. Now you want to fuck the Russians up the ass. They got the big penis. They got nuclear weapons. Are you willing? I mean, is your greed going to supersede your fear of annihilation, mutual annihilation? It remains to be seen. I mean, you're not that far off from the gorillas. Anyway, here's to the gorillas. Folks, you haven't been practicing globalism, my common pink-skinned folks. Your leaders have been practicing colonialism. They just give it a different name. They call it democracy and freedom. They just give it a different name, but that's still colonialism. If I have the right to come to your land and put up a base and, you know, rape your women here and there, not officially, unofficially, and if I can do that, that's colonialism. Whether you sell it as colonialism or you sell it as part of the coalition of the willing, being part of a coalition of willing, or whether you call them democracy, it doesn't matter. They find a reason to sell it to the common folks like you that this is not colonialism, this is freedom. We're going over there not to colonize them, but to free them. Okay, so I'm just here because I see a wrong thing being done here, and that is colonialism is being sold as globalism for a long time. And you know how I reached this conclusion? Because I heard left and right that Republicans for the past decade or so, I've seen left and right from the especially Republicans who turn and say, you know, they say, yeah, we don't want internationalism, we don't recognize United Nations, we don't do this, we don't do that. And what they fear and what they mean is that they're worried that United Nations is going to rule them. United Nations are going to rule you. Well, if you do something bad, there is an international criminal court that a bunch of other nations have recognized. So it's a good idea to follow what international criminal courts demands of nations to everybody behave. What is that? What is wrong with that? We are after our own interest. Well, if everybody goes only after their own interest without any compromise, that's what when war happens. You know, that's how war happens. You go after your interests with total disregard to other people's rights. And you come up with reasons to attack them while you can. I mean, the reason, you know, these big powers, you know, the reason NATO doesn't go up against Russia directly, because, you know, there's a risk of stalemate or a risk of loss, huge loss. So, you know, let's divide and rule. And let's start something here, and let's start something there, and so you just go after the ones that are totally beatable. Conquering, you know, adding these lands to the empire. And those lands that are, you know, it's like there is no chance that they have a chance. There is no chance that there is a chance that they can stand up. And, you know, and then you see Republicans keep saying that, you know, the pullout of Afghanistan was wrong, executed bad or wrong. The pullout was wrong. The going in was wrong. It's a shed hole in a shed show in a corner of shitty Asia. You do you. You're not supposed to do them. Yes, they're terrorists. They're shitty fuckheads. So what? You make your city shine better instead of, you know, worrying about why their cities are not shining. Or this is supposedly what you sell to the people, that their cities are not shiny enough. We want to go shine democracy on them. We want to go and shine our form of government on them, because in our form of government you can purchase your representatives. In their form of government, you can't purchase your representatives. That's the problem. We like purchasing our representatives. You know, really purchasing. Anyway, that's democracy. Folks, you don't have globalism. You never practiced you never gave globalism a chance. Globalism is strictly going by United Nations perspective, i.e. a democracy at the large scale. In the large scale, Uncle Sam's land is one of 200 lands. 200, almost 200 recognized nations. One of 200. You either recognize that you're one voice out of 200, which would be real democracy at the global scale, that Mr. Carl Schwab, and they keep speaking that name that is like he's the unrecognized, you know, chevalier of planet Earth. No, he's not. They're associating Mr. Schwab, that guy who supposedly gathers all these rich people to talk business, talk globalism. You're looking at him as if that he's the representative of globalist No, he's not. He's a representative of the colonialists. You see, that what they're doing over there, Karl Schwab, what he's doing, and what Soros is doing, and what Uncle Sam's managers are doing, and what the European Union is still doing, what NATO is doing, Karl Schwab, NATO, the same thing. What they're all doing is colonialism. They just don't call it that. You can call it whatever you want. That is totally separate from globalism, which is United Nations, not the Security Council, because those motherfuckers are racist. 4 out of 5 are pinkskins. In Security Council of United Nations, 4 out of 5 are pinkskin. You know, North America, Uncle Sam's managers, the fucking British, the fucking French, the fucking Russians, and China. China is the only non-white member of the Security Council, which is the big penis in the United Nations. And even this is not sometimes acceptable. What the decisions that this 5 security member council, who are, you know, have the biggest penis, even the decisions that this small group makes, sometimes doesn't make Uncle Sam's managers happy, so they go form another coalition with their old colonial partners in Europe, like France and the fucking British, and they form their own colonial hierarchy, the pinkskins, and they start attacking the countries, the areas, the nations, the places, interfering, not even sometimes attacking, just interfering, sending weapons, sending agents and trainers, interfering in the affairs of every corner in the planet. This is called colonialism by any other name. This is not globalism, my pink-skinned friends, my common pink-skinned friends. This is not globalism. Mr. Schwab is not a globalist, he's a colonialist. He believes the supremacy of Europeans on planet Earth. So he has been practicing, Mrs. Hillary Clinton, Mrs. Rice, Mr. Bush, Mr. Obama, Mr. Cheney, everybody, Nixon, LBJ, all of them, Reagan, all of them have been practicing colonialism towards the rest of the world, not globalism. Globalism means we are a globe. We all have one vote. Each one has one vote. That's democracy at the global scale. Each nation has a vote and we respect the votes. And we try to be as lenient as possible and try to clean up everybody. You're trying to corrupt everybody. The colonialism system, globalist system wants to clean up everybody. That means, okay, corruption is bad, but if a ruler is over there and has been there for 20 years, but he's doing a good job and his people are not in torture chambers like there is in Jordan, like there is in Friend and Family Jordan, they have a lot of dungeons in Jordan, in Egypt. But these are friendly folks, so we don't see their dungeons. This is not globalism, this is colonialism. If my friend is fucking somebody up the ass over there, I don't see it. But if my foe is, sending doctors to places that need doctors, I see it, but I find some fault with it. Like Cuba is doing. They have produced excess doctors and they export doctors, and yes, the government takes a lot of the remittances back for the government, but still they're exporting doctors. But still Uncle Sam's managers find a reason to say it's not a good idea to export doctors. At the same time that the capitalist managers in Uncle Sam's land, having all the wealth in the world, the most of the wealth in the world, still don't find enough wealth to educate enough doctors for their own land. So they have to have net import of doctors. This is colonialism. You import brain and money and you export shit. You send your peasants to colonize other land, and you bring in brains and wealth from other lands. Import wealth and brains, export shit. Colonialist peasant. This is what you do. This is colonialism. This is not globalism. But you have sold it to your people that, yeah, things have gone wrong. This is all as a result of globalism. And my friend Mr. Tucker Carlson says this is a result of socialism. No, folks, none of this is a result of socialism. None of this is the result of globalism. This is all the result of colonialism, not globalism. And capitalism, not socialism. Why are you people, what's wrong? You're seeing white, you're calling it black. Just like, friends can fuck people up the ass and you don't see it, and foes can do good for people, but you find a fault with it. You're seeing white, you're calling it black. You have been practicing colonialism, invading other countries to bring down their rulers and change their system and make it look like yours. That's not globalism, that's colonialism. That's not socialism, that's capitalism selling weapons and getting paid with tax dollars. What part of this is globalism? What part of this is socialism? This is absolute colonialist capitalist. You have been practicing colonialist capitalism. You go in, and while you're going in, a bunch of sword makers make a lot of money, and once you are in, then you go to work on them, and your other corporations make money. That's colonialism. Folks, Carl Schwab, Mr. Soros, Mr. Murdoch, Mr. Senators and presidents, more or less all, these folks have been voting for colonialism, for colonialist actions all around the world, interfering in other countries. You keep calling yourself good. I mean, how many people do you know? I mean, they say you go to jail and nobody is guilty. You talk to them and nobody's guilty. Nobody says it was me. So this idea that for evil to succeed and all it takes is for good man to do nothing, this is all bullshit. Because who's the good man? Everybody thinks they're the good man. Have you seen anybody says no, I'm the evil? Have you seen anybody? So and they all when two opposing sides, they both can't be good. One has to be evil. And have you ever seen anybody says, "Oh, I'm the evil guy. I'm the evil side"? No, they both think they are on the side of good. They both can't be right. And it's impossible for you to be the right side. My pink skins friends, especially in North America, because recent history shows that every time you've been on the wrong side, sort of like you have taken the path of your leaders, managers of Uncle Sam, have taken the path of colonialists. Colonialists go and conquer. Forget about the reason. Colonialists go in and conquer. Period. Globalists don't go in and conquer. Globalists leave shit alone. They say you do you and I do me, you do you over there and I do me over here. And this area between us should be neutral. We should all try to be friends. That's what globalists do. The globalists don't say, no, everybody should follow my form of government, democracy, because it's the best. Although the results speak otherwise, but I guess it's the best because so you say so. Because nobody is the bad guy, everybody is the good guy. So this conspiracy, other conspiracies, oh, about this either Mr. Schwab or it's Mr. Soros or it's the no, let's say it's all the Jewish people. No, what the fuck are you talking about, folks? If us brown people, black people, yellow people, red skins, yellow skins, brown skins, black skins, us the rest who are not pink skin, right? Us who are not pink skin, we see Christians, the Gentiles and the Jews as the same. We see Christians and the Jewish folks as the same. You guys are all white in our view because you're from Europe. Even the fucking Italians are considered as white because they're from Europe. You have a continent. You call it Europe. There's an European Union, right? Yes, it's understandable. It's very much arbitrary, but at least it's part of the map. Here's the thing, my pink-skinned friends in North America, especially those subject to Uncle Sam. Folks, do you have a globe at home? Globe. You know, Earth is not flat. There is a globe. Do you have a globe of the world at home? Do you have a map of the world on the wall? Real map, not a children's map, real map of the world. Big. Like, 6 foot by 4 foot. That size map. Do you have on the wall on your house? Is it important to you to have it? No. So you don't know much geography. How much history are you reading right now? I don't care how old you are. How much history are you reading right now? Oh, you haven't hit much of it. No globe, no map of the world, no history. How much? Forget about history of Uncle Sam's land. There is a fucking globe out there, 200 nations, they all have a history. How much of their history do you know? Or have read? If you're an average pink-skinned man or woman in Uncle Sam's land, and you have, it hasn't been important for you to know shit, you can't come and blame the Jews for this. It hasn't been important for you to know shit. Now you blame the rich. Yes, the rich are blamable, but not the Jews, not the Jewish folks. Here's the thing. If you don't know shit, and shit happens to you, it's not somebody else's fault. You see, lack of information causes mistake. Lack of information causes mistake. The less information you have, the more mistakes you make. What part of this is hard to understand? The less information you have, the more mistakes you're going to make. What part of this is somebody else's problem? To make less mistake, you have to know more. More history, more geography, more world history, planet Earth history. More geography, more biography. See how else people who are worth writing about, see how did they live. People who are worth talking about or learning about, somebody has written their biography somewhere. How much of those biographies do you know? To see what they were, to see what good is, what ideal is. Not good, but what ideal is. To see what they valued. Those great people, obviously their values should be your values. How much of their values do you know? And if you're waiting for, Mr. Quentin Tarantino to come out and make a movie about the value system of Mr. Benjamin Franklin, your wait is going to be very long. Because these things are boring. Values is not something that, would give people a hard-on to spend money and to go and watch. So you haven't kept up with geography. You haven't kept my pink skin, common pink skin folks in North America and Western Europe. If you haven't kept up with your history, the world geography, the cultures, the world cultures, the world religions, if you haven't read, about any of them, if you haven't researched any of them, why when you make a mistake you're willing, ready, and able to call the that the matter is somehow the fault of the Jewish people? Folks, let me put it this way: you have an Old Testament and a New Testament. Folks, we look at the Christians and the Jewish folks as the same. Dude, you have the same book. It's an old version and a new version. If you're so close that you have the same book, you're the same. As far as we, the brown, the black, the yellow, the red, and the green are concerned, you guys are the same. All Europeans are the same. They're white, they're pink, they're taller, they're pale, and some of them Christian Jews, it doesn't matter, European. And please don't keep saying it. Was it the Jewish folks who wiped out the Redskins in North America? Was it your Jewish variety? Was it the European Jewish variety that wiped the Redskins from North America? Or was it the European, the European Christian variety? It was the Christian variety who wiped out North America. Now it's the Jewish varieties trying to wipe out the fucking brown skins of Middle East, brown skins of West Asia. Folks, it wasn't the Jewish folks who colonized the whole of Africa, it was Europeans. The problem is the rich pink skins, every time, they extract as much as they can wealth and power and have the best time of their life, the ruling class of the pink skin, after big parties for many years, when shit hits the fan, the people at the upper echelon of the pink skin society points the finger at the Jews, and the common pink skin fall for it every time. Yup, it was the Jews. Are there Jewish people at near the top of the pink skin societies? Yes. They have a tradition of knowledge, which I'm saying you should have. Instead of basketball and football and golf and baseball, you should be reading history and geography of planet Earth. You should be reading about civil structure and civility and cultures all over the world and religions of all over the world. You should be reading. You should be learning. You should be uploading. Hopefully Mr. Elon Musk brings it about. You should be uploading about these things. But you have been uploading the wrong things. Football statistics and basketball statistics and baseball statistics and this statistics and that statistics, which has no absolute, civil use. So you have been uploading these from your TV screen. Then your rulers have been abusing their power. The rulers of the pink skin lands have been abusing their powers and stuffed their pockets, and more importantly, stuffed their friends' pockets. I mean, when Walmart is allowed to not only kill the local businesses by opening up giant stores and bringing in everything, so basically the local stores are killed off, then Walmart goes and produces everything, goes to China and says, we need you to produce this, and we're going to buy it at this price, and you're going to sell it to us for such a low price because we're going to buy huge numbers. So make your people work for less because we're going to, absolutely shit on you with the price that we pay you. We're going to take huge profit, and then, our people are going to also be making, making bank because we can sell them cheap. Still, it's going to be cheap, even although we make a huge profit because you're forcing, the Chinese workers to work for pennies on the dollar. So, Walmart being allowed to kill the local industry of merchants of all kinds. Walmart comes in. There used to be a hardware store and and a vegetable store and a hardware store and a meat store and a bread store and a fuck store. But now Walmart comes in and there's no need for all of those stores. You got one store, you got everything in it. You come in, you go out, you're done. Very efficient, thank you very much. But so was communism. So with the existence of a Goliath like Walmart, you don't have free capitalism. Fuck you. This is one giant store that, their owners actually rule the country. Oh, who doesn't accept that the owners of these giant corporations actually rule the United States of America? Uncle Sam's land. The owners of these giant corporations actually rule because they're the ones who get the first pick. They say, okay, I'm going to donate to this one in the Republican Party because he understands me, and I'm going to donate to this one in the Democrat Party because we have an understanding. So the owners of Walmart have an understanding with both sides. Therefore, neither side objects when all the stores in the town has to close because one Walmart has come in. That's with regards to the merchants. And then the manufacturing is taken out because Walmart can make a lot more profits because the difference between labor and retail is huge. What part of this is free market? And these people who are ruling you, what part of Walmart ruling the political class, what part of Walton family's ruling of the political class has to do with the Jewish folks? What part of it has to do with the Jewish folks? The Waltons and the Marses and the Hershey's and the Hiltons and the Chiltons and the Clintons. Well, he's the political class. He's the servant. But anyway, these huge mammoths of capitalist mammoths of North America rule Uncle Sam's business. And they haven't done globalism. They have done colonialism. They have opened up new markets for themselves so Walmart can go put up stores in Mexico. And then they have opened up new markets for themselves through colonialism so Walmart can now go and put its store up in Iraq and kill off the merchants over there. So Walmart can now go on, but unfortunately Walmart can't go to Afghanistan because I guess, we shouldn't have pulled out of Afghanistan. Why? Because there are no Walmarts there now? Sad story. If it had taken us to kill another 100,000 Afghanis, it would have been worth it if we could have put up a fucking Walmart there. This is how Walton family looks at it. Is this how an average pink skin in North America looks at it? No. Is this And what part of this has to do with the Jewish folks? The rich people, the rich upper echelon of the pink-skin society pick your leaders through democracy by donating to the one that shakes their ass better than the others. That's your political class. They donate to their favorite, and these favorites get elected, eventually go to all levels of your government as the representative of the people who they're not. They're only the representative of the rich. And what part of this is the Jewish problem? What part of this has to do with Jewish people? Yes, they are also civil servants, but they are serving the same capitalist elite as the Christian politicians or Christian civil servants. They are all serving the same rich elite, wealthy upper echelon of the pink-skin societies. They're serving the same people. You see, the way we see it, the brown and the black and the yellows and all of other skin colors, the way we see it is you guys, your rulers, are representative of your rich people, the upper echelon of the pink-skin society. And they are doing their bidding. Therefore, they keep sending pink-skins to all, regular folks like pink-skins to other areas of this planet to put down the locals, to open new markets for them and the new resources for the rich people so they can do business in new lands. Because the more business you do, the more profits you make. Some of these civil servants, and very few politicians, but some of these civil servants at the top of the civil service in North America and Europe happen to become Jewish. Because, Jewish folks have another tradition that the Gentile average folks need to follow. That is, the Jewish average folks have this tradition that they value knowledge, and not about football and baseball and basketball. They value knowledge about everything. You should know everything. That's their idea, and that's a good thing. And once you raise your kids of know everything about everything, then the people, the rich people, the people at the top need you around, because when you know everything, you can solve a lot of problems. Therefore, a lot of rich people want you around them. That's why you find the Jewish folks usually at the top of the civil service. They reach the top. They don't jump to the top, they reach the top. Why? Because they value information. Because they keep learning, and because they have this urge to learn. That's a good idea. Everyone should. They're not there at the top of the civil service or near the top of the civil service in the Western society, the Jewish folks. They're not there because of some conspiracy. No, they're there because they value a culture of learning as much as you can about everything. And they promote that culture within their children. What's the problem with that? Therefore, since they know a lot of things, they have a lot of information, they slowly rise. Kissinger, the motherfucker was a reader. He was not he was a practical man. And usually being, practical means you turn evil, because practical people look for results, and sometimes you gotta break a few eggs to get the result that you want, to get the kind of omelet that you want, and there goes a couple of million, tens of millions of Vietnamese. Because the result you want is, again, it's not Kissinger that's evil, it's people who have hired Kissinger. They're looking at Kissinger as a tool. We, the rich people, Walton family, for example, the Rockefellers, J.P. Morgan Chases, all of them, J.P. Morgan and Chase, all of them force these politicians to make decisions that would benefit them. What part of this is the Jewish problem? Yes, some of these politicians have, such as Nixon, such as LBJ, they had Kissinger as their advisor. Kissinger was just an advisor. You can advise, you tell him how I can reach from here to there. He advises you. Does he force you to take his advice? You, as if you think you're globalist, if you think you're Christian, if you think you're good, you should not be wanting to do colonialism. To ask Kissinger, how can I do this colonialist act? And then Kissinger gives you a roadmap how you can perform that colonialist act. That doesn't become, Kissinger doesn't become evil because he provided you a roadmap for what you wanted. You paid him and he gave you a roadmap. The rich people who have that politician, who have elected that politician, they have wanted to commit that colonialist action, i.e., go over there in that shed hole, shit down their throat, grab their land, grab the minerals that you want, kill their people that don't want to take orders, and stick it up their ass. Because that's profitable. That's, you know, Halliburton and Shell and Raytheon and Phillips, and that's, you know, these guys, the Waltons and the Chevrons and the Exxons and the Marses, and they're, I mean, you go to a Walmart store and you see all the names you see. Well, those names benefit if they can put up 50 Walmart stores in Baghdad. If they can put 50 Walmart stores in Baghdad, tomorrow morning, all of those brand names that you see in Walmart benefit. Now they sell their shit in 50 different counties in Baghdad. More profits. For who? For me and you? No, for them. So in the middle of all this, rich people wanting more stores to increase their wealth and power, they hire some politicians in the form of Clinton and Obama and McCain, and literally in McCain's family, it was the richest family in Arizona who made their money through running alcohol during Prohibition. The McCain's wife's family made their money through running, what they call them, running alcohol across the border from Mexico into Arizona and then distributing them to the rest of the Southwest. This was the job. This is how the McCain's wife's family made their money. And they literally, in this case, the richest family in the state hires the senator of the state. And to make the deal very official, they give their daughter to the guy. Either they hired him, then they gave him their daughter, or they gave him their daughter, then they hired him as the Arizona senator. So this is what I'm saying. The rich people hire your politicians. These politicians, some of them happen to have Jewish advisors. They have a lot of Christian advisors. They have a lot of Jewish advisors. Do the Jewish advisors make the decisions, or the Christian advisors make the decisions? No. Did Kissinger ever make the decision? No. He was at the place he was because he knew a lot about everything, a lot of things. He was knowledgeable. That's why he was an advisor. Did Kissinger make the decisions that he made, or LBJ made the decisions that he made? No. He was working for somebody. He's working for the rich people in Uncle Sam's land. When I say rich people, I don't mean, your uncle who has a boat. I don't mean that. I don't mean by rich people if your cousin has you know, a ski hideout. No, I mean folks who, own half of New York. I'm talking about, BlackRock and JP Morgan Chase, all of them. I'm talking about the kind of money that owns towns, the Marses, the Hershey's, and the, Waltons. These folks own towns, own cities. That kind of money gets exactly the politician that they want. If you have very little money, you have very little say. If you have a boat, you don't have that much say. You can donate $50. Here's a cookie. Folks, you have made democracy mixed with capitalism. It's turned into feudalism. Democracy mixed with capitalism has turned you into feudalism. Peasants are not learning anything. The system keeps giving them break and not noticing that they don't know shit. Nobody knows geography, nobody knows world history, nobody knows anything about world cultures and world religions. Nobody knows much about anything. And then let's blame the Jews. That's the cherry on top. I'm going to end this with a story I heard on NPR. The first time I heard it, then I went and read it on Wikipedia. You can find it in Wikipedia. This is when I say that it's not the Jewish people's fault that, the rich in pink skin societies don't mind fucking the poor up the ass. This is not a Jewish problem. This is an example. World War I, it seems, the first time they used chemical weapons. Okay. One of the top chemists in Germany was a Jewish guy. And, well, he was top chemist and he was somebody, so he's invited to parties and he's invited, to big people in charge homes, to the homes of people in charge. So he has, connection with a lot of people at the top of the higher echelon of the German society before World War I. So, because he's the top of his game, he's one of the top chemists in Germany. He was a Jewish guy. I don't even remember his name now. So, again, back to, because they have this tradition of learning everything about everything, the Jewish folks. Therefore, they usually get to the top of their field because they have this necessity to learn. They're taught to learn a lot. It's very important to them in their culture, which should be in everybody's culture. Learn a lot about everything. So, he was, as usual, at top of his field in chemistry, and Wilhelm Kaiser, whatever, the leader of Germany, they start World War I, and somewhere in the middle of it, he has an idea. Somebody tells him, okay, how the idea is, how can we kill our brothers on the other side who are also pink skin like us, all more or less follow the same religion as us? How can we kill them faster? So the idea is, okay, he hears that, okay, hey, I have an idea, you can gas them, and we have this gas, we kill our mice with this gas real fast to put them out of their misery when we have to. Okay, it's called Zyklon, Myclon B, whatever. So he has a gas which they use for something else, and he knows it because he's a top chemist. Either he has read about it or he has produced it himself. So either way, the German higher command, who are a representative of the rich people of Germany, because Germany at that time was, I guess, the feudal state, feudalist going on capitalist. World War I guess it was somewhere in between. Still, the The Kaiser was, a lord, just like the fucking British. They had monarchy, like hierarchical system in Germany at that time. So basically, the rich people, the lords and the wealthy, wanted to kill the people of the other side to take over their land, or the other side wanted to take over this land, and neither one was willing to compromise because more is better. So the rich people tell the politicians that we want to kill more of them and take over more of their land. So the politicians has an advisors. One of these advisors happened to be this Jewish chemist. He says, okay, my advisor, how can we kill more of them in a faster time? The guy says, hey, we got a gas that's a real killer. So they tested it, and then they use it. Well, a bunch of people die, by hundreds, by thousands, whatever. And then, they fucked up on the second, third try. They fucked up because the wind changed, and suddenly the gas killed some on the other side, and then killed some on this side as well. Anyway, my point is this. This wasn't a Jewish conspiracy or a Jewish this or a Jewish that. This was the rich people wanted more land to make more profit. And those rich people wanted more land to make profit for themselves. They got into it, they couldn't come to a compromise. The rich people on both sides. So they tell their politicians who work for them, work for the rich people. In democracy, politicians work for rich people. In the, Chinese-style socialism, the rich people work for politicians, just like the poor people. Both the poor people and the rich people work for a politician. But in capitalisms and in democracies, both the rich rule over the politicians, because the rich people are the main ones donating to their favorite politician. Therefore, usually 9 out of 10, their favorite politician becomes elected, of either party, doesn't matter. So my point is this. At that time, in Germany, the ruler himself was one of the lords, was a rich motherfucker born in a rich family, owned half of Germany, I guess. And the lords around him, the owners and the rich people around him, they made a decision to go to war. Told the politicians what they want, the politician asked the advisor how to do it, and they did it. Both the chemical attack and the World War I in general, and World War II in general. It wasn't about the Nazis. It was about my penis is bigger or yours. It was about, are we going to spend dollars? Is the dollar going to become the reserve currency of the world, or mark, German mark? Or the Japanese yen? Which one is going to be reserve currency of the world? Well, dollar became the reserve currency of the world. It wasn't about the Nazis. It wasn't that they were bad and we are good. No. It wasn't that they were good. No, nobody's good. Folks, you no, you folks are not that good. Nobody is in general. Nobody is good in general. But this is just history. Read it, for heaven's sakes. Read it. Don't blame the Jews. Jews are advising. Very few of them are ever elected. There was like one senator before. Right now is like one senator, Schumer, maybe a couple of more Jewish folks in the Senate, and a handful or two handful Jewish folks in the House of Representatives. They are not in control. And your politicians are not in control either, because this is a capitalist system. Democracy with capitalism makes for, bad bedfellows. your politicians have become your capitalist bitches. So, so I'm sorry, but the only solution is that, if you want to have anything resembling to a real representation, is that just stop everybody, all the make politicians ashamed of receiving a penny. Make politicians ashamed of receiving a penny in donation. If you receive a penny in donations, you're a bitch. If you can, promote that attitude, if you receive a single dollar in donations, you're a bitch. If you can promote that attitude, then you can, make sure that, if make sure at least, Bernie Sanders runs against Trump, not Hillary Clinton. You make sure at least, a simple fact. No, donate to me more, and no, donate to me more so I can win. Oh, that's bullshit. That's absolute total nonsense. Because you have a politician here who receives 3 checks equivalent to 3,000 checks that's supposed to come from, for this politician, who the poor people have to, skip a meal to send a check to the politician that they like. Skip a meal to send a donation. And on this side, you have the guy, it's just, his money comes in with boats. So there is no comparison. The only way is to make absolute, consider donations as bribery. From tomorrow morning, political donations are considered bribery, whether it's through CPAC or a DPAC or a GPAC. No, local news has to give local politicians certain hours per elections to speak. National news should be allowed to give certain politicians certain hours to speak, equal amount to every politician. You have this many hours during this election cycle to state your case. And you can't receive any donations. Nobody can put up advertising for you like toothpaste, because all kinds of political donations is considered as bribes. And we are watching your bank account as a politician. If your bank account goes up, you're watching my bank account. This is the problem, that the rich people are telling the politicians to watch the poor people more, clamp down on the poor people more, watch their bank accounts, and watch them doing this and prevent them doing that, and clamp down and stick it to them. This is what the rich people are telling the politicians to do. But in reality, if the rich people are also controlled by politicians, if the rich people are, are controlled under some kind of a law, they're not, the politicians look up to them, then there may be, a case in which politicians can actually hold the rich accountable. Or not actually, forget about hold the rich accountable. Don't take orders from them. Don't go to war for rich people. It's not the Jewish problem. Your politicians are going to wars left and right to make the rich people happy. Period. And these politicians, 9 out of 10 are Gentile. And your rich people are 9 out of 10 are Gentile. So 9 out of 10 upper echelon, not your cousin with the boat. 9 out of 10 upper echelon, Walton family size, wealth, 9 out of 10 are pink skin and Christian. 9 out of 10 of your population, your politicians, are Christian and pink skin. 9 out of 10. You got 1%, maybe 10% of Jewish folks in the richest category in Northern America, Western Hemisphere, and maybe 1% of the politicians are Jewish folks. 1% of extremely rich people are Jewish folks, and 10% of extremely rich people are Jewish folks, and 10% of the top politicians are Jewish. 90% of extremely rich people who rule the Western Hemisphere, the pink-skin societies, are pink-skins and Christian. Christian. 90%. Walton family is Christian. Rockefellers were Christian. Mars family is Christian. And there is no different. You have the same book. We don't see you as different. It's like, the difference between a Lutheran and Presbyterian. I don't know. I should know, but I don't. But in general, if you tell me, because I'm from some place that we just knew Christian. We just know Christian. And our information about you is also limited. So my point is this. You gotta learn and you gotta accumulate information as much as possible. We don't see Jewish and Christian people as different. You're all white. And you're not different. So how can it be a Jewish conspiracy of any kind when only 10% of the extremely wealthy are Jewish, only 10% of politicians are Jewish, and less than 10% of your people are Jewish? How can it be a Jewish conspiracy? You see where I'm going with this? And none of the leaders, none of the decision makers in North America has ever been Jewish decision makers. A politician can make a decision. You can't say, no, he had to make that decision. No, politician has always had, the top politician, the senator and the president, has a choice to make. You can't say he didn't have a choice and this group had them by the balls. No, the politician, if he's Christian, he has to have dignity, and if somebody has them by the balls, they should resign and say, okay, I have to excuse myself because somebody has my balls in their hand. So I'm gonna go away because I can't be independent. And this is what a Christian would do. So I'm sorry, I have to step down. Somebody has my balls in their hand. This was what a Christian politician would do if they are under somebody's spell. That's not a Jewish problem. Lack of integrity by Christian population is not a Jewish problem. When the Christian leadership, as based on the wants of the rich upper echelon of the pink-skin society, who happens to be Christian, if they have an objective which is to expand their empire, economic empire, to make more money, that's not a Jewish conspiracy. That's a rich people conspiracy. They want more. And the conspiracy is that they want more. The Mars family wants more, to sell more Mars chocolate bar. That's the conspiracy. And how can you sell more if you have more territory under your control? And how can you take more territory under your control? Through colonialism. And how can you implement colonialism? With the help of politicians. And how can you get politician? You buy him, you purchase him. How you purchase a politician? Through donations. Money, real money, donations. Because we can advertise, and how can these advertisements fool people? Because the people don't like to educate themselves. We shove our political ad in the middle of their football, and we convince them that we are the good guys. So who's the problem? If the people are, overly involved with sports and scorekeeping and, you know, actors and their life and their, if they're overly involved with things that don't matter and they don't pay attention, and the rich people through politicians, by the advice of their advisors, someone who happened to be Jewish, if regular people get screwed by the extremely wealthy through the politician, how is that the Jewish problem? Your wealthy are fucking you. The Walton family killed the grocery store and the hardware store and the shoe store in Uncle Sam's Rand, and then the same Walton family killed the manufacturing in Uncle Sam's Land and took the manufacturing to China. How is that the Jewish problem? It's a Walton family problem. I kind of think Waltons are not Jewish, or else, they're not. But the point is this. That's beside the point. The point is this, folks. Again, 10% of the extremely wealthy are also Jewish, who control these politicians. But still, it's 10%. But as I said, all of the wealthy people benefit when the empire expands, because they can put more stores and sell more product to the bigger number of people. So it benefits them. But not very little of it benefits Joe Sixpack, who, none of, expansion of the empire doesn't benefit Joe Sixpack. It didn't benefit, Walton didn't benefit him in his hometown, and Walmart didn't benefit Joe Sixpack in his hometown because his daddy's store was closed, and Walmart didn't help him with his manufacturing job because that was also shipped overseas to maybe Vietnam. They try to force, take over Vietnam by force. It didn't happen. Now they're taking it by kiss. Folks, this globalism never happened. You guys have been doing colonialism, and colonialism has been to the benefit and to the benefit of the upper echelon of the pink skin society, and to the detriment of the common pink skinned man in Western Europe and North America. Always the common man has been taken to war to fight for rich people, so rich people can have more. That's the long and the short of it. In this, and every time the rich people in the West, in the pink-skinned world, this has become a tradition. After robbing the rich pink skin, after robbing the poor skin for a long while with the help of the politician, then the rich people blame the Jews, then politicians starts blaming the Jews, and then the regular average folks says, oh yeah, of course, it must be the Jews. I have a horse in this game as well. We all do in a way, because the old saying, they first came for the Jews and they said nothing. That's that kind of story. I have a horse in this too. So stop blaming the common folks. Stop blaming specific religion or religious order. This is this problem of colonialism in 20th century and 21st century. This is at the behest of the rich. This is for the rich, by the rich, for the rich, by the politician, with some advice maybe from Christian and Jewish advisors. The advisors can talk all day long. If what they say is not going to help politicians reach the objective that the rich people set for them, then the advisor might as well, blow a horn. It doesn't matter. The only way the advice is listened to, the advice of the Jewish advisors are listened to, the only time it's listened to is if the politician thinks by following that advice he can reach the goal that the rich people has set for him. If he doesn't think he's going to reach that objective, he will not listen to the advice of his advisors, whether they be Gentile or Jews. He's working for the rich people. He needs to set the objective that they set for him. Stop believing this bullshit that your rich people keep selling you every time they fuck you up the ass, and for a long time, then they say, oh, you see, this is the Jewish problem, and this is the globalist problem. No, it's neither the Jewish problem nor the globalist problem. This is rich colonialism and its aftermath. The way the world is right now, with all the broken up countries and all the embargoed and sanctioned countries whose people are running out of those countries because they're not livable anymore and they're coming to your land. This is colonialist capitalism at work. This is the result of that. It's not the result of globalism, as it's not the result of any Jewish conspiracy. This is a result of rich people wanting more. The right way to do this is real globalism. You go to United Nations, you listen to the majority rule in United Nations, and you allow International Criminal Court to have some power, because, and you just expect them to be fair. You don't pick teams to go to war. Everything can be decided in United Nations by votes, which you never practiced. Even the French pulled out of your last coalition of the willing, and you started calling for freedom fries. Remember that one? Freedom fries, because the French were pulling out of your last coalition of the willing. Because you don't do globalism. You never did. You're continuously doing colonialism.